Good morning, humans. Well, it's not morning. Good afternoon. It's 4:20 p.m. 4:19 rather, but I rounded up. 7th April, 2020. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. I have some vague ideas, and I don't know what I'm gonna waste your time with. Make it a 80-hour video, and even if I get a chunk of it, like a chunk of it, a chump change, you'll probably food help me enable me to put that DiGiorno pizza on my table. Maybe DiGiorno. What should I talk about? Pizza, Italian. I wanted to talk about letter P or letter K, like do that same segment where I rattle out the entire dictionary like the badass I am. And I'm patting myself right now. If you, for those who actually can see me. Camera. Yeah, photography. I know nothing about. Absolutely nothing. Like I never picked up. Maybe let's talk about photography. Something I feel I know absolutely nothing about. I know it started with the whole daguerreotype and the camera obscura, um, the daguerreotype, and there was the earliest photograph with the dog in the street and whatnot. I forget who took it. And then is Kokoschka a photographer? Oscar Kokoschka. I don't know. And why are most of the why are so many like classic like photos um in black and white? And then there was this Charmin, I think, the Charmin, Cindy Charmin, the artist who used to um superimpose herself rather in those classic poses of like Humphrey Bogart-esque type of photographies. I think that's her name, Cindy Charmin. I have to look it up after I finish. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, the closest I got to was a fucking Filmora. I mean, that's more like Photoshop, and I know nothing about aperture, camera, like filters, like fucking slow motion to drop motion or whatever. Like how you do those, I don't know, where those light sort of trails, these ghostly ways. Like you leave the aperture open and you capture the trail. Yeah, this is not my comfort zone at all. I mean, man, I should like rather say go to cricket or something like letter K or letter P. Yeah. Well, photography is letter P. Poltergeist, Planchet, Secret of Polichinelle. I feel comfortable talking about random, useless subjects like the smorgasbord of those fragments of tidbits of anecdotal, trivial. Should I topic it? Photography or letter P? Because if I ramble on about photography, I have to like force myself, like dig deeper into my database and like find out. Maybe let's stick to that. I mean, how is a camera made? You got your well, you in the TV, you got your cathode ray tubes and whatnot and pixels. But in photography, well, if you have, how does the camera operate? The whole photography, like Polaroid, I mean, you develop the film, so you sort of, it's kind of like, well, how does a camera obscura operate rather? Because the light reflects off it of an image, and sort of there's this ghostly impression on the silver. I think it's silver, right? Some silver plate or copper plate, and somehow the light makes like a Xerox copy. I guess that's what it really usually like really does. It's like, and now it has become so advanced. They probably like the filtration spectrum of the light has been like is modulated to to such extent that just by the different grayscale of gradients, you can detect what the image was. Because what the fuck is a camera? It has no brain. I mean, how does it actually imprint, record the whole like to life? Like it's actually marvel, actually miraculous, quite miraculous how it actually does if you think about it. And then this whole internet technology, whatever, we're sending rockets to moon, and when you get down to the bare bones, down to the gritty details, I'm just you realize that It's mind-boggling. So the aperture length, the light reflects off through this aperture and inverted, and somehow the light leaves in. What does it leave like? I don't know. I don't know how it records, how it actually captures the image. If you were to make a primitive camera, how would you go about it? Hmm. Who knows? Who are some of the greatest photographers of all time? Like those great photography artists? Picasso, well, no, not Picasso, those Life magazine, because there's this Life magazine photo of Picasso and some other celebrities. This Life magazine photographers, they're the big shots. They're the, not Beatles, like they're the rock stars of photography, I guess. Like, and again, it's subjective. I mean, just because I fucking take a bland photo of Ernest Hemingway and just blow it up, and you can count his freckles, and do freaking like tessellation, constellation, calculation on it, and do arc sign. Yeah, I mean it's all subjective. I mean, what makes a good photo? There's context involved in it. There's background and there's the level of difficulty. Like I was watching this artist. I think it was Life of an Artist, and because Katie Patterson had one segment of Life of an Artist, I think, and that guy he went to Scotland and I think Wales or whatever, Scotland probably or Ireland, I don't know, Scotland, that area, and it's the light at sunset or at certain time, it's like entirely different. You get this ghostly, like not ghostly, sort of this almost fantasy, like those Lord of the Rings like sort of feeling, like this scene where it's almost sort of like a fantasy pages, and sometimes you see those in those Microsoft photos, not Microsoft photos, when you boot your computer and Microsoft now automatically changes the wallpaper somehow. Microsoft sucks. This is Microsoft sucks. Microsoft is the worst thing that happened to mankind since Black Plague. I'll be back. So we got your film back. Remember back in the days where you used to have those disposable films and cameras, the real cameras. Kids nowadays don't even know what a real camera looks like. You got your SD card and memory card, and because back in the days we had a film. Remember film those years ago, eons back, way back in the time in the portal of we have the film, and you have to like freaking the disposable cameras, even the real cameras, you have to somehow like take it out of that canister and somehow like wiggle it out and somehow like strap it in, like you're trying to like, it's almost like you're putting this heart, this artery, this cardioid, this what do you call that, this component in a like small wonder or something, and that's like the bad not the bad, and then yeah, obviously the batteries, so but and I'm talking about that as if it was like the ancient thing, like an ancient artifact, like an antique era, Greek antique era or something, or Heron's clepsydra. Did Heron invent clepsydra? I don't think so, but Heron was used to invent automaton and the temple that opened by itself, the magical temple. But yeah, so, and even before that, probably there were those shutter cameras and projections, and the guy with the had to like freaking like a creep snuff film guy, like put a fucking jacket over him and then somehow like let's salaciously take photos of you. And then there was the postmodern photography. That's interesting. See, this is what happens when you keep persisting, even if you can't enunciate and you're not well spoken, because you find out, even if you force yourself to speak on an unknown topic, so many, like you kind of have this Wikipedia like nodes to connect now, and by talking about it you actually make the connection. Postmodern photography, very hot and very popular during Victorian times. And my problem is I had it ever since I was in high school. I always want to talk about complex things, like always choose the path of less most resistant, rather the difficult path. Like it's not because of pretentious. It has to. It's more like a challenge. Not even a challenge. It's like there's so many. I mean, but anyways, I'm just making excuses. But what I was gonna say, what the hell I was gonna say? Oh, the postmodern photography, Victorian invention. So you got all these dead people and well corpses, and you take photo of them. It's like a memento mori. And nowadays you just get to whip out your fish out your phone and just completely circumvent the process of be back in the days we used to take the photos and then sometimes they get the film out, or sometimes the whole film would be ruined or whatnot, or you get water or whatnot, or like leave the exposure was too much and the whole photos would be ruined. You take out the film, take it to the studio and they will develop it. Even Target had that express, but I'm talking back in the days in my country, Bangladesh, there was certain like specific studios where you take them and they would and you have to wait like freaking 2 weeks or something and or whatever, and they would just print out the stack and still have those stack in with me. Those are the real original photograph with the date and the date printed, and you get those reels, those negatives, and that would look like ghosts. You hold it against the sunlight, and that itself is like another. And basically, it's I think and then there's the next step of like visual motion picture where it's like frames. It's just like animation, zoetrop, whatever. Like a kind of like yeah. And there are more types of now I remember I once actually read a segment of photography. There's actually we think of zoetrop or something. There's probably more like not xylotrop, like there's more trope, like there's more type of those kind of instruments where they used to like use you like not swivel those handle, and it moves the whole thing, and you get this sort of, and you peer in this instrument, this gadget, and you see this whole instrument in motion. Reminds me of those viewfinder things. Like you remember those viewfinder cameras or like whatever lenses? Yeah, whatever happened to those? And you used to get those circular those whatever like discs. And what else? Yeah, this doesn't interest me. No wonder I didn't get into photography. I mean, and then there are probably those ghost. I'm sure there's almost another genre on ghost photography, like or UFO photography. Because photography itself and the Dewey Decimal System of photography, I mean, it'll probably like ramificate to different, like who knows, like 30 different categories. Like you got your from the earliest. When was it invented? Like in the late 1800s? Who knows? In Paris? Who was the? Who was? It was Eastman Kodak the first person to come up with the camera. Well, of course, well, just like anything, like computers or whatever, it's a gradation, it's a linear progression. So I don't think he probably got credit for something, probably film or something, because obviously it bears the name Kodak, and then there's a Kodak Black, right? The rapper. There's Fuji. What else were there? Kodak, Fuji. I forgot. That Fuji was a Japanese company because in Bangladesh, Japan, I mean, I don't think in America, no Americans know anything about Fuji. Canon obviously is popular here. Nikon. Um, am I wasting YouTube's bandwidth? Is this really? Why am I doing this? So, photography, yeah. I I mean, and it's unrelated, but I'm more interested in sketching. If I were to like pursue a path in painting, I wouldn't because I want to just the bare bone, the minimal, just the whole sketch, like the simple fact of taking a pencil and sketching something is like black on white, and that's your restraint, the constraint. And with that, you can just create anything, and then you can learn about shading and gradation, grayscale. Yeah, camera, as I was gonna say, the whole process of photography actually, I mean, yeah, processing, exposure and whatnot, it has to do with linear algebra, because the bitmap, I mean, it it's like pixels. Think of pixels, and you think of matrix, and it's like you have to know about eigenvalues and whatnot. Fucking Jacobi polynomial. So, um, I wonder what will the future of photography like. How well, obviously it's going from camera, but even the like regular camera, like actual camera. Um, yeah, in front of me I have a camera actually. It's what is it called, Coolpix L840. I mean, it's a good camera. It's a Nike Nikkor. Why did it say Nikkor? I thought it was Nikon all my life. Shit, Mandela effect. All my life I thought I've been lied to. Oh, no, it is Nikon. It is Nikon, but it says Nikkor 38x wide optical zoom edition VR 4.0 152 millimeter. I have no fucking idea what it means. Ratio 1:3 to 6.5. Shit, it's like operating like a freaking airplane or something. It has so many features and option and flash and lens length, the 38 times optical zoom wide. It's wow. And then this T and W. What is T and W? I always thought it was Tuesday and Wednesday. You're supposed to have one lens for Tuesday and Wednesday. I mean, shit. And then there's this like whole damn. It's not automatic. And then there's the whole SLR thing, SLR digital, and then manual. Remember those times where they used to freaking do this like, what do you call that? And I'm making a grinding motion, like turning a lever. You have to do that, and then it would pop up somewhere. Was it? Well, what's the difference between like the shutter camera and Polaroid? Yeah, yeah, I'm not enjoying this segment. I don't know if I should stop. I mean, I should just rename my vlogs, blog podcast as the awkward, awkward rambling on guy randomly guy rambles awkwardly on random topics. Nothing I do will catch on. I mean, literally, and sometimes I used to think that luck doesn't, like, it's not about luck, but you can, like, literally. I'm not saying, well, what determines quality? Like, if I can, sometimes things can be so bad, it can be so good. So maybe I should just totally go in the opposite direction, just make it all like fumble words, intentionally stutter. Like Mozart, he used to intentionally put false notes, and that's just those are the level of genius that the level of genius you reach when you're like, just fuck it, I'm gonna fuck with you guys, like fucking toy with this shit. So yeah, going back to photography, Cindy Sharman. I mean, why am I? That's like my. Uh, and there was another art of photography where they took it from an apartment building. Yeah, I don't know. I think, was it fake? Like from a fake apartment building or something. Like it was from window of an apartment building, and it led to this, and it yeah, digital, or rather photography art is something like, maybe I found out my blind spot, my in my great magnanimous brain of mine, this fucking this in my cauldron of thought process, as with so many stuff buzzing and bubbling. I guess I don't have ample space for a photography cartridge. See what I did there? So yeah, I think I'll end it on that note. Sorry, it wasn't a fun segment.